Okay, so yeah, so I got okay. So there was some audio issue due to which a lot of you were not able to listen to what I was saying. So yes, so welcome to this second webinar of our Career in Programming webinar series, which is organized by Eckovation. So first of all, a little bit about me. I am Akshat Goel. I have over 8 years of experience in programming. My experience is has been in the various fields, starting with IoT, Android, iOS, and backend development, and that has been in the multiple stacks: main stack, MERN stack, and LAMP stack. And in the past few years, I have been focusing on ML and AI. So before we go it, a little bit about my story. So I got into IIT Delhi in 2008, got into mechanical engineering, was deeply passionate about computer science and IT, which is similar to a lot of people who are listening to this right now are also passionate about these areas. So similar was the case with me. Sadly, I was not in the computer science field. I was into mechanical engineering. I did a lot of internships during my graduation period. I did more than 4 internships and built more than 15 projects with various other companies and in the college projects. I also did a lot of trainings, offline and online. And as a result of it, finally at the end of my graduation, I got placed in DNA Tokyo at a very good package. And then since then I have been basically on a move to disseminate my skills to a lot of engineering and professional people in India, and that is what I have been doing since then. And also I'm the founder and CTO of Eckovation, and you are with me in this webinar today. So let's get started. So there are a lot of people amongst you who have already attended our previous webinars, and there obviously a lot of you haven't attended any webinar of Ecovation. So for that, I've just added a new portion of recent news. So recent news section basically gets into some recent developments that have been happening in the top areas that we are going to discuss in this presentation after some time. So for example, the Ubuntu 17.10 version that is going to be released next year has a special focus on augmented reality and IoT. So you can see that when a whole new operating system is targeted at a particular technology, you can be sure that there is something that is going to happen that will be very huge and very big in that technology, right? And that is like AR, IoT, and cloud. By the Indian government believes that the artificial intelligence market is going to touch $153 billion. That's like a huge lot of money by 2020. The UAE has now a minister of artificial intelligence. So you can see that how big the artificial intelligence is becoming. Shinzo Abe, the Prime Minister of Japan, on his visit to India, is now focusing as like Internet of Things is a very prime topic of his agendas of visiting. So there will be more than 125 billion devices that will be on IoT by 2030. So you can see there is immense potential in the technologies like AR, IoT, cloud, and Internet of Things. And that is what we're going to talk about in today's webinar. So have you seen this kind of earning potentials, like an Android developer earning 8 lakh per annum, full stack 12, and social media marketing 12, and then machine learning engineer 15 lakhs per annum? So did you aspire getting these high packages? If you did, then stay with me. We're going to see how you can be in that position, and we're going to learn all of that today. So stay with me. Code rules. So the age that we are living in right now is the age of internet. So all the industries that you see around you are being disrupted by information technology. So all these new startups, these new companies, these new apps that are all coming around you are changing the way these industries are working, whether it is manufacturing industry or it is industry that makes, say, for example, some your restaurant industry or your entertainment industry, or for example, anything on that is on the internet is basically a part of this industry, and this industry is being disrupted by internet, and code rules this. So your ability to code, there is this code that is written by all these engineers, which basically powers this whole internet. So if you're not in computer science, don't worry, you're not going to be left out. There are people, there are ways that you can do, there are things that you can do, so that you will be a part of this revolution. Even if you are in computer science, don't be certain. There's still a lot of things that you will have to do so that you benefit from this revolution and you can be part of this revolution that is happening around you right now. So what are the areas? We already talked about some recent developments, some recent news that happened in some areas, but let's take a deeper dive into each of these areas in the next couple of minutes. So there is this drone delivery. So imagine Amazon. So for example, recently I was reading a news that Amazon is planning to use drones to basically charge your electric vehicles. Like, see, like just how awesome is that? Like a quadcopter comes in and basically charges your vehicle, which is probably out of charge in the middle of a highway, right? So it's like these are the kind of things that are people trying to do in drone delivery. One of the very partially solved problem is like being able to deliver pizzas at your doorstep via drone. Like that seems like a good isn't it? So this is one area. Another area is Internet of Things. Like as we just talked about in the news section also, like all the great leaders and the great companies of the world are now focusing on Internet of Things. Everyone is now able to foresee that within next 5 to 10 years, almost all the devices around you will be connected with internet, and they will be under the control at the tap of your button on your smartphone. So all these electronics manufactured by Samsung, like your TV, fridge, or like your car manufactured by your car companies, like all these things will be connected over internet, and they will be under your control. So that is how it is. So Internet of Things is another great area. Then there is artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is also everywhere around you. So whichever app you open, and if you see a recommended for you section. So recently I was buying something on Flipkart, right? And then like just a couple of days after my purchase was done, they emailed me the things that you might like. So you know what? These kind of emails are not some specific manually generated emails for anyone. These are automated emails, and these emails are being basically generated by sophisticated algorithms who are always checking out the buying patterns of each and every customers on their site, and it is then finding out what are the products that you might be liking on the basis of the products that you have already bought. So all these things, and like it's similar to your song recommendation inside your music app, and all these things are now basically built using artificial intelligence. Android, you like all these things like your drone delivery, Internet of Things, and artificial intelligence basically all depend on Android. Why? Because Android is the delivery mechanism. Android is the platform on which you will be making an app, and your end user will basically be interacting with one or multiple of these technologies through your Android application. So Android application again becomes one of the cornerstones of all these areas. So by Android, don't be too focused on Android. By Android, I mean mobile, and mobile consists both Android and iOS. So even if you have an Apple phone, that also comes under this area as well. Then there is virtual reality. Recently, I was in this mall I recently visited, and over there they were displaying this Samsung Gear. Okay, and I took a demo of it. So it was just so awesome. I strapped like this Samsung Gear VR headset onto my head, and they played a game. And for next 10 minutes, it gave me an impression that I was in that game. It was a tunnel game, and I was actually navigating through the tunnel, and it all felt so real. So that is the potential that virtual reality holds, basically. Like there was this another company which is now trying to make an app in virtual reality domain, with which you will be able to design your home in VR, basically. So all the things, all the furniture and everything, you will be able to place at your home virtually before actually going ahead and executing it. So those are the kind of innovations that are happening in VR, and you should be a part of it. So because these technologies, except for Android, and like all these technologies are right now in the development phase. So people are still trying to find out their potential. There are early adopters in this. Within a few years, by the time you pass out, if you're still in graduation, by the time you pass out, you will see established companies using these technologies with established products. And at that time, if you don't have the required skills which are used to build these things, you will not be in the correct position to be with them, with those companies, right? So that is why knowing about these areas and learning these areas early is very important. Okay, so what to do if you are in college? So since you are still in college, and maybe so I've divided this problem into 3 steps. So probably you are in first or second year. So if you're in first or second year, then I would recommend that don't select a particular area, because since you are still young, you have just started your journey of engineering. So you still don't know what are all the areas that are there, and you still can't decide so early in your life that, okay, this is the thing that I want to specialize in. So in this first and second year, you should basically be exploring as many things as possible. Try sitting through as many lecture classes as possible. Try basically building. Try looking at more trainings, courses, and try interning with people, and try to group with as many people as possible. Take as many like new things up as possible, so that you will know by the end of your first or second year that, okay, these are the things that are there. I've done them all. Now this is the thing I want to specialize in. Okay, so that is the best way to go about it. And you should then so to achieve this, you should be utilizing both online and offline courses. Okay, so please listen, both online and offline. Okay. So if you're in third year, okay, so your internship is very close. Okay, so probably that if you have already found out an area where you want to specialize in, you want to go it. So you should ideally be building projects. Okay, because by the end of your third year, you have to do an internship. Okay, so either you have already found out your best area, then build all the projects in that. Okay, and then go for an internship. If you still don't have the area that is most recommended for you, then just pick any one area. For example, pick Android development or pick full stack development, and then just build those projects. Okay, related to that field. And once you do that, make them in such a manner that you can showcase them. Okay, so they should be hosted somewhere. Their source code should be on the GitHub, so that when you're making your resume for applications to these companies, you should be able to showcase your projects. Unless you showcase your projects to them, you won't be able to crack a good internship. Okay, so it is very important that you keep all these projects and everything showcaseable, so that you can show them in your resume. And when you're sending these resumes in your internships to these companies, there will be a very high chance that you will get shortlisted. If you're in fourth year, then you should be knowing that you are very soon going to pass out, and you will be out there in the job market, trying to figure out what you like, which company will choose you and stuff like that. So So there are two possibilities: either you have already done a very good internship, or either you have not. If you have done a very good internship in your third year, then focus on competitive coding. Okay, try to like go in all these online portals where you can practice your coding skills. Okay, so that when in the interviews you will be asked some programming questions, something like that, you will be able to impress your interviewer by basically telling the most optimal solution in the shortest possible time. So try and participate in as much as possible in the competitive coding in your fourth year. Okay, if you haven't done a good internship, then again upskill yourself. Then choose one or two key areas. Now, since you are already in fourth year, you cannot focus on a lot of areas. So just pick one area, whichever by the name of it suits you the best. Just choose one area, and then do all the online and offline courses and trainings, whatever you get, to basically build your skills in that area. Okay, and then again focus a lot on projects. If you are basically doing some training or something like that somewhere online or offline, if you're not building a project, basically you're wasting time. So please focus a lot on building projects. Again, keep them showcaseable and showcase them well in your resume. Don't depend on your college placements. Start applying to companies outside your campus through various online portals. Okay, and then I'm sure you will be able to get a good job. Okay, if you are passed out, if you're passed out and you are not happy with whatever skills that you are currently exercising at your current job, then again pick one area, upgrade your skills, and then after you're done upgrading your skills through online or offline training, just then after that just go and then ask for a raise or something like that, ask for a promotion. Okay, so you should know that the skills that you are learning today will be useless after 4 years, because the technologies are evolving so fast that there is no single technology that has existed for more than a decade. For more than a decade. Okay, and even in the same technology, the tools that you use on daily basis are evolving so fast that you cannot rely on the same kind of skills that you are having today 4 years down the line. So it is very important that you keep on evolving yourself. Okay, and you should know that just doing well on your grades in college will not get you a job. Okay, I'm from IIT Delhi. I can tell you personally that there were many people who were having the top class grades in college and they did not get placed even for a month when the placement season started. Okay, and similar case applies for every college in India, that just having the college education will not get you a job. You need to upgrade yourself, you need to know multiple skills, you need to have multiple projects and multiple areas of expertise to successfully land you in a good job. You yourself need to take initiative to learn these skills online and offline. No one is going to come and tell you or force you to do something. Okay, so it is very important that you know this. Now after knowing all of this, you can see that this is the earning potential that is possible if you build your expertise in one of these areas. Okay, so now I will tell you about the things that you do in one career path on day-to-day basis. Okay, if you're a full stack developer. Okay, so if you want to build websites, if you want to build not just websites but web applications, for example Facebook or say Gmail, which offer a very dynamic and diverse set of things to the user, right? And you want to know how this works end to end. So starting with the server, the thing that runs in the cloud, the database where all the information is, all the logic where all the calculations are being done, and then showing it to the user on the browser where the user clicks on a button and something happens and stuff like that. If you want to learn this full thing end to end, then you should become a full stack developer. Full stack developer does that almost day in, day out. If you want to get into the nitty-gritties of what is displayed on the browser, if you want to make that button that is displayed on this screen sexy, if you want to like make it very attractive, if you want to have that animation that makes a button move from this place to another and stuff like that, then you should become a front-end developer. Front-end developer is sort of a subset of full stack developer, but it is very much specialized on browser. Okay, so full stack developers generally work with front-end developers, so that the full stack developers makes the full application end to end. Then all the X factor that is needed on the front end in the browser is done by the front end developer. Then comes the Android engineer. So Android engineer basically builds your complete mobile application. So any mobile application that you see around you, so for example, Flipkart or Book My Show or any application for that matter, that application is built by some Android developer sitting somewhere. And Android developer is a very vast area. So you need to know a lot of things inside Android before you can successfully become an Android engineer. For example, animations and network optimizations and like a couple of other things like battery optimization. Like there are so many things that are required to successfully build a good, easy to use, user friendly mobile application. So that is what like a role of an Android engineer is. Then there is machine learning engineers. So machine learning engineers, so I'll tell you, full stack front-end and Android engineers are hired by a lot of startups, even by upcoming companies. So for example, the companies which are still in the ongoing like development phase, they are also hired by the companies which are very vast and very big. And these are also hired by the companies which are not predominantly IT companies. So for example, if Coca-Cola wants to make their own website or something like that, they obviously already have a website and an app, but still giving an example that for the companies which are not predominantly IT companies also have requirements for these kind of people. Machine learning is a little bit advanced role. This position is generally open only in the very established IT companies which know how to handle data, which already have a lot of data. So machine learning on day-to-day basis will be writing out algorithms and will be basically driving out new conclusions and new outcomes of the data that is already existing in the databases of that company. That is what a machine learning engineer does. Okay, so yeah, so that is what a machine learning engineer does. Then comes the iOS engineer. iOS engineer again is someone who does almost the thing that an Android engineer does, but iOS engineer is totally focused on the Apple devices and Apple platforms. So if you are an Apple lover and if you possibly own your own like MacBook or an iPhone, then this is a very fruitful role, a lot of career options. And in my personal experience, I've seen that iOS, like people who have a good like command on iOS are basically very hard to find. So if you already have an iPhone and a MacBook and you are passionate about the way Apple works and the way and this whole OS and everything is designed, if you're always updated about say iOS 11 and like all these updates that Apple is always doing, then you should definitely consider this as an option. So for this iOS engineer, all the companies like small companies, medium companies, big companies, all kinds of companies generally have openings for iOS. Then comes the social media marketing. So social media marketing is a very fantastic role. So if you're an engineer and if you have a lot of intent towards marketing, brand building, and if you're already up to date about these things, and if you also want to do an MBA, so this is a very interesting role because this requires a lot of engineering mindset, like an analytical way of thinking about things, and obviously like being able to establish brands online. So all your marketing, all the ads basically that you see on Facebook or Twitter, or for that matter on Google, anything that you see over these platforms are basically basically made and thought out by some social media marketing somewhere. So for example, the social media campaign of President Obama, or say the social media campaign of Narendra Modi, like all these things that have happened around you, all these ads and all these news articles that is always floating around in the media. These are the things that are done by some social media marketing manager sitting somewhere. It's a very interesting position. Requires a lot of analytical thinking. That is why if you are an engineer and if you have like this branding and marketing kind of a mindset, then this is a very like fruitful position to be in. All the companies, so social media marketing managers are not hired by small companies. They are hired by good level IT companies, established startups, and or very big companies. So that is the kind of like this position is. There is a selenium engineer. Selenium engineer is a very interesting position, I would say. So as you can see that whatever apps that you use, for example, like your Facebook app or your Google app, or for that matter, your Android phone itself, okay, or your iPhone. So all these are pieces of software, right, that are running on that device, right? So all these things are so complex, and these things are not one-man show. These things are built by teams of say 2,000 people. So there is a 2,000 people team which is working like inside Apple, like building out the iOS operating system, right? So these things become so complex that if you're changing one thing in one part of the code, that you need to be sure that it doesn't break anything else. Okay, so these products, when they become complex, they always have to be tested. Okay, they need to be tested for quality. So Selenium engineer ideally does that. Selenium engineer is the big boss that sits like with the product team all in all the companies, and making sure that whatever the product is being built by all these engineers is always up to the mark. So the quality doesn't go down and at any time. So so this is not manual. So you cannot check like an Android, whether an Android phone works well or not manually, right? So most many of the tasks of a Selenium engineer are automated, and obviously for complex bugs and complex things which need to be tested are not automated, they are manual. So that also is a very good and interesting position to be in. If you have a mindset of basically drilling into things, and if you always break things apart and you are able to find out, okay, this was not working fine, this button over here doesn't look good, it should have been this way. And if you have already like found out maybe security vulnerabilities in products, and if you have already found out bugs in many established products, then you can see that this you already have that kind of mindset. So you can then look for this kind of position as well. It's a very interesting role, hired by big companies, big IT companies, I would say. That's the only way, because like only the IT companies, established IT companies and established startups have sort of the enlightenment that okay, they need to test things in an automated manner, and they need to make sure that the quality and everything is fine. Because for other companies, the IT products are so small they can generally be tested by a single person themselves. Okay. Then comes the user interface and user experience designer. So all the things that you see around you, all these products are so complex that they cannot really be built by just one person. Okay, so for example, so obviously they are built by many persons, but even you can say the person who is using these products finally is just using them either on a computer, okay, or on a phone, okay, and these are limited space on the screen, right? So you need to basically place all the options, all the buttons very carefully on the screen. Okay, that is the work of a user experience designer, that the user experience designer is able to think from the perspective of a user and is able to say that okay, this is the action that the user wants to complete, and this is the way the button or the options need to be placed on the screen. So that is the work of a user experience designer. Then comes the user interface. So how your button looks, whether it is beautiful or not, whether, so all your Zomato ads, for example, that you see on Facebook, or probably all the various the Eckovation website, for example, that was just released 2-3 days back. All these things have been designed by a user interface designer, user interface and user experience designer. They are the people who are able to see that, okay, this is the button that needs to be placed here, this is the color that it will look like, and this is how it will work. Okay, and then it comes to the engineer, it goes to the engineer who finally builds it. Okay, so this is a very important and good and exciting role if you want to be that. So this role is okay. It's okay if you are not an engineer, and if you want to go in this field, it's fine. But obviously it works the best if you are an engineer, because if you are an engineer, you have the blessing of thinking about things analytically, right? So it always is very good if you are an engineer. And this role is generally available in established companies only, because very small companies generally don't design that thing professionally. So mid-level companies and big companies have this kind of opening, and this is a very exciting position if you have the design mindset, if you are good in art, if you like drawing up things, if you are an engineer, and if you like colors, if you like thinking from the user perspective and stuff like that, then you should become user interface and experience designer. Very exciting. Okay, so just a quick reminder that Eckovation offers courses targeted at each of these career paths. That if you want to choose one of these career paths, you should definitely consider Eckovation one of your training partner. So placements. So when you are trained in one or more than one career paths that are mentioned over here, you can easily get placements in all these companies like Flipkart, Snapdeal, Eckovation, Ola, Uber, Zomato, and many more. So these are the kind of companies that are always hiring for these roles. If you don't trust me, then just go on these websites and check out their career pages. You will see a lot of positions open on these career paths. So if you have the desired skills, if you have the right kind of say projects to showcase, if you have the right kind of intent, then companies will be running after you rather than you running after the companies. And so these are some courses that we are offering. Do check out our website. I did not update this link, so this link has changed. So now you can find all these courses just by going to eckovation.com and clicking on the courses button. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this webinar session. I enjoyed it deeply. It's fun talking to you guys day in, day out, and being able to solve your concerns. I'm sure it added a little bit of value in your life. Thank you. This session is now open for your doubts. If you're having, I'll be solving your doubts live. Okay, I'm changing this to the camera mode. I am now open for doubts that you might be having. Okay, so I have quite a lot of doubts this time from a lot of you. So I will be taking the first doubt. This is by Tanmay. So he's asking, suggest how to develop your skills in the field of programming in the years of engineering. So that is why that is what I would recommend, that if you want to build your skills in programming. So first of all, okay, so I would answer this in two parts. If you want to build your skills in C and C++, for example, then go for competitive programming. Okay, try looking at those problems that you see online at various online portals. participate in online hackathons, and you will generally get better in C and C++ if you basically keep on solving those questions and assignments online. Okay, that is one way of going about it. And if you want to get good at skills other than C++, then build projects. Okay, take up some project under your professor in your college, or do an internship, or partner, or just think of something that you want to build and just group with your friends and build it, or maybe take up a course online or offline and build the projects that are shown in that course. Building projects this way is generally very recommended one, because it is very efficient, because you have everything in place and you have an instructor who is able to answer your doubts. But obviously, after doing 1 or 2 courses in that field, you generally are on your own, and you have to then build out things on your own. Okay, so the best way to start is, again, if it is C++, then go for online like programming competitions, and if it is not C++, then either do internships or do some courses. That is what I would say. Okay, so this doubt is by Pasnani, and she's saying that what are the scopes for Python language? Python is a very good language. Is right now one of the top languages like that are used in ML and AI. So with the rise of artificial intelligence and machine learning, Python being one of the key languages in that is on the rise as well. But on a personal note, I would like to say that don't be, so there is no scope of language as such. Okay, so you can learn a language, but you should focus on a particular sector. If you want to be in IoT, or if you want to be in Android, or if you want to be in ML or AI, then you learn the tools that are required for that sector. If you want to be in big data or ML AI, then obviously you should learn Python. Okay, so it's not the vice versa basically. So I hope that answers your doubt. Okay, so this one is by Prakash. He's saying that he wants to know about augmented reality. So augmented reality is a very exciting domain. As I just said, that a lot of new startups and new companies are now building AR apps. So there was this recent game, right, which got viral, which in which like the moment you open your game, you see some monsters everywhere on around you, and then you have to go and catch them all. So those are the kind of games that are coming up in AR. AR generally comes with VR, so AR and VR. So VR is basically virtual reality, where the environment gets built inside the virtual domain, like but technically, an augmented reality is something in which the environment is the environment that you already have around you, and some artificial elements are added on the top of it. Okay, and so you can interact with them. So the house example that I was giving in the presentation is an example of augmented reality, because it will help you see your house in real, and then have some customizations over and above that house. Or the tunnel game example that I was giving is a virtual reality example, in which that tunnel doesn't really exist. It has been created virtually so that you can interact into it. So both kind of things are now very much on the rise. There are VR headsets that are being sold everywhere. So it's a very good skill to have. It's a very exciting skill to have, to know, to being able to program in these like AR and VR domain. Okay, so this one is again by Prakash. We're saying that he wants to know about machine learning. So machine learning is, again, as I said, like you can build recommendation engines. You can build a lot of things, like for example, data crawling or data prediction or statistical analysis of data. All these sort of things are inside machine learning. So it has a lot of scope when you pass out. So you should definitely take up some courses online or offline, or maybe try looking for an internship which is into that, and start learning with respect to a project that you will have, and then you will be having a lot of idea about how to go into that. Okay, I hope that answers your question. Then So there are like some people who are asking a lot of doubts. So I would recommend that join our groups that have been shared in the chat so that I can address to other people's doubt as well. So your doubts can be answered in the forums that have been shared in this YouTube chat. So the other question is asked by Gaurav, who is saying the prerequisite criteria of AI. So prerequisite criteria of almost anything that I was talking about is that you need to have a drive for it. You need to have a drive to learn for it. Number one. Number two, try. So if you want to get good at AI, then try with Python first. Okay, start learning Python and build some small nifty projects in Python using NumPy or SciPy libraries. Build some analysis programs which are basically playing with data, like fetching data from somewhere, building for some analysis and like building something on it. Start from there, and slowly you will be able to build your skills in the field of AI. Next doubt is by Bhargav. He's saying that I have a small doubt about IoT, that whether to indulge in the areas of IoT. Yeah, there are a lot of security problems in IoT, right? And that is what gives opportunity for budding engineers, right? There are obviously a lot of security problems, and there are a lot of solutions that are coming up in IoT as well. For example, certification solutions, wherein each and every IoT device that will be connected with the IoT network will be having a digital certificate with which everything will be secure. Okay, so there are a lot of problems. There are a lot of solutions. So that should not deter you from starting it. So if you are interested about IoT, then just start building some projects or start learning about IoT. Okay. Then again, Mohit is saying that will quantum computing replace the current computers in 8 to 10 years? Uh, I would say yes. Not the ones which are being used by the people right now, like not the mobiles or your personal computer. I would say that it will start happening from the cloud, okay, from the data centers that are being operated, because they are the places where you have lots and lots of computing power that is being used. From there, this will start suddenly start getting adopted, and slowly then it will make its way to the end user. Okay, so I'm ignoring the doubts that are multiple doubts from the same person. I'm not ignoring them. I will still be answering them, but that will be taken offline after this webinar. Okay, so Akhil has a good doubt. He's saying that he's in second year right now in UPTU college, and what are the things and how to manage college and other stuff. So I would say that if your college is very much demanding, if you are not, if your college requires you to do things on day-to-day basis, then assign some days of a week. Okay, for example, one day on the weekend, and probably some like one day on the weekend and your vacation. So for example, your December holidays, not and if you're since you're in second year, and so the holidays at the end of your second year, those are the kind of holidays where you will be having a lot of time. If you already have some skills acquired, then apply for an internship. If you don't have some skills acquired, then figure out 2 to 3 key areas and do some online and offline courses in that, so that you will be able to build some skills to it. Try to learn multiple skills. At least do two skills at the minimum, and learn them, and build your expertise and projects in the starting sem of third year, and then in the second sem of third year, then start applying for various internships, and you will do well. Okay, so Bhargav is saying that how important are the certificates that we earn apart from curriculum? I would say they are important. Okay, because when when you are going and showing your certificates with your projects in your resume, it sort of gives a lot of hint to the other person that okay, this person has done something. This person has done something of worthwhile in his education years. Okay, so I would say it has a lot of value. Try having a lot of projects and certificates in your like in your studying years. Okay, Kalyan is saying that from where I can learn server client communication. So server client communication basically comes in the area of full stack development. So you can take some full stack courses online or offline. If you are trying to take some courses online, then please do consider Eckovation, or you can do courses anywhere else also. But try doing server like full stack courses if you want to learn more about server client communication. So Gopi is saying, what are the prerequisites for data scientists? So data scientists need to have a hunch for data. Basically, they need to have like the ability to basically analyze data. Okay, so try basically taking some assignments in the, like that involve a lot of statistical analysis. Like for example, like median, average, and like maximum, minimum sort of analysis. Have some skills in SQL language, okay, because a lot of data right now is on the SQL language. So try learning some things on that as well. And then again, build your skills in Python and R. That will give you more tools for doing data analysis. So those are the sort of prerequisites. You can start with one skill and slowly learn other skills when you get into it. Ravi is saying, can you tell me about data mining? So data mining again is driving out conclusions, is driving out models from the data that is present in your data warehouse. So a lot of big companies have all of their data in a single data warehouse. Okay, and you write various queries, you write various programs in R and Python, or you write queries in SQL basically to make conclusions, to make models. Okay, they do a lot of graphs and analysis for all these data, and then try to build out conclusions. So that is basically data mining, like mining the data to get some conclusions out of it, to solve some business problems. That is data mining. Okay, so Push has a very good question. So his offer, like the offer that you got from an MNC has been rejected. So what you should do now? So this time that you're having right now is very crucial. Okay, I generally, when I'm hiring people, I generally don't hire people who are out of job, because being out of job is not a very favorable outcome. Okay, so first of all, keep yourself busy. Okay, don't sit idle. Keep doing courses online and offline. Keep building your skills first of all. Okay, and then try getting into any job, like of course in your domain, in any possible company that you can look for, even if it's a startup. Since you have been rejected from an MNC, don't keep your expectations high. Work anywhere, but the point is that you should be working, because if you are working, then that shows that you will be updated with the field that you where you want to build your career eventually. Okay, so it is very important that you keep working somewhere. Try applying through various online job portals to basically get some job. Don't apply for an internship, because people who are not in job try and try for a lot of internship, thinking that they will get a job opportunity inside an internship. I generally don't consider that as a good option, because since you have passed out, try getting a full-time job. Maybe it is at a lesser package what you were offered by an MNC, but don't worry. The best part is that you should be working. You should be hands-on on the skill where you want to make your career. That is the most important thing. Kaushik is saying that does embedded coding really benefit for good programmers? Yes, it does, because when you are doing competitive coding in a particular language, your skills and the depth of that language will improve. Okay, you will be able to think about the solutions of problem faster, and you will be able to implement them in a much faster manner. So people who are good at competitive programming generally shine out in the workplace when they finally get into their jobs. So it is very important that you do some kind of competitive programming in your final years before placement. Okay, so Rakesh is saying, can I learn machine learning in 2 years? I would say yes, 2 years is in fact a very long time. Ideally, you can learn machine learning in 2 to 3 months. Obviously, being good at it and being like able to apply those solutions in the best possible manner when you are getting when you're getting problems in the in the wild, that will that is the game of experience. That will take time, but yes, you can learn, and you don't need 2 years to basically learn machine learning. Okay, you can learn it in a matter of months. Okay, so there is another question that by Prakash, how much infrastructure is important? I would say it is very important. On day-to-day basis, when we are programming, I used to think when I was studying various courses in computer science that data structure is not actually used in the wild. But now I have an opinion that they are used. If you have a good grasp of data structure, then you will be able to write more efficient programs. Okay. So for example, if I say that okay, this is the information, I'm gonna loop over it and make this result as an output. Okay. So these things, doing them in a particular manner really requires that you have good strength over data structures. Okay, you should be knowing what are linked lists, and you should be knowing what are arrays, and you should be knowing how to efficiently traverse them, how to place the information that you're having efficiently in the memory. Even though linked list and all these sorting algorithms that we study in data structure is not are not implemented grounds up in the languages that are used right now. All these libraries and everything are already available. But knowing the inside things about it helps you use the best possible sorting algorithm, even though it's just a function, but it helps you use it in the best possible manner for the problem that you're going to solve. Okay, so I would say it's very important to have like data structure knowledge if you want to be a good programmer. Another question is that is Python better than MATLAB? I would say yes. MATLAB is good for prototyping. Okay, so if you want to quickly build an algorithm to see whether it will work fine or not or something like that, then obviously you can use MATLAB to quickly test out things because it has a lot of functions and a lot of algorithms that are already written in place and which can easily be used in your scripts. They are good. But when you go in production, when you're writing your programs for efficiency at a scale, then obviously you use Python. Okay, so what are the benefits of competitive programming has been asked by Vikas. I am hoping that this is now already answered. Okay, so Tianshu is saying what type of projects should run in college? I would say try doing as many projects as possible. Don't see that okay, I will do this project and I will not do another project. Try doing as many projects as possible, as long as they are somewhat related to one of the fields where you want to go. So, for example, if you have already decided that okay, if you want to be an Android developer or something, some specific field, if you have already planned, then do projects in that field. Okay, but if you haven't decided any field as of yet, then try doing as many projects as possible because you don't know what is the thing or what is the skill that will interest you the most when you basically pass out. Okay. Okay, so Bhargav has a good question. How to indulge into user experience designer as a newbie? Um, I would say that try building interfaces as hobby projects. So, for example, take up WhatsApp or take up any product that is either very nicely designed or very badly designed. For the product that is very badly designed, just just make an alternative user interface for that. Okay, just build that interface and maybe put it on your Behance portfolio or somewhere. Okay, and then just the community over there will like upvote or downvote your designs, and then slowly you can basically aim for higher popularity in those networks, and slowly you will be in a position that okay, where you will be having some sort of design sense in your mind, and you will be somewhat more experienced in what you are in that field as of now. Okay. um, Once you are at a certain level, then again you can apply for various internships and placement opportunities where you will be able to get a job as experienced designer. Okay, so there is this question by Bharat who's asking how to proceed in gaming career. Oh, okay. So first of all, I'm skipping a lot of questions that have been asked by users by a lot of you guys. Not skipping them, just that I'm since some questions are complex, I will prefer writing them out in the forums that have been shared later on after the session. Okay. So yeah, so I was just answering this question: how to proceed in gaming career. The gaming career is a very niche sort of career. So first of all, you should have a good portfolio of games. Okay, good portfolio of games that you build during your college time, and then again, having that portfolio, you have to apply for some established gaming companies, and they just send out your for internships and placements in those companies. If you're lucky, you will get shortlisted, and if you get shortlisted, then you can slowly start from there. Try basically looking through the career pages of those companies which are established gaming companies, and then you will over there you generally write out the kind of skills that you're looking for in the people, and build your resume and your projects targeted towards that, and then slowly you will be able to enter those companies. It will take some time, but don't lose heart. It's a very like niche thing, and it's very exciting. So you will be able to get into it if you persevere. Which one is better, PHP or advanced Java for development? So advanced Java is good, but not very much used in development for the new projects that are coming. So all the new and upcoming projects are more towards PHP, or I would say Node.js, or maybe Django in Python. Okay, advanced Java are more used for the projects who somewhat started with advanced Java in the olden times, and now they're still maintaining that code like at this time. So I would say that don't like expect that the new projects that you will find in the industry will be using advanced Java. Okay, and even the established companies which are starting projects or Node.js or Django in Python. Okay. Um, PHP is the best or AngularJS? So that's asked by engineering. So engineering, that's an invalid question because PHP is for backend. So PHP is used to write all your backend logic, and AngularJS runs in the front end. It runs on the browser, handling all your URLs and maintaining all the animations and stuff like that. So you cannot compare PHP or AngularJS. They are both used together. So that is how it goes. So if you want, so if you're interested about that, try looking into again full stack development. There you will be able to get the idea about the backend and the front end and the complete stack on how to build useful products combining these multiple technologies. Okay, so we are almost out of time. It's just so I would say that a lot of people haven't have haven't had their doubts answered. So I would encourage them that whatever groups that have been shared at in the live chat of this webinar, just join one of those groups and keep asking your queries over there. I am there for you. I'm there for you all the time to answer your queries. Okay. And lastly, if you are trying to like get into one of those career paths that I mentioned, if you want to learn one of these skills, just give out a shout. Please do one or two courses that are offered by Eckovation. All these courses are taken by the people who are in the industry, who have a lot of experience in that field, doing that thing in the wild. Okay, so they are really able to teach those things inside out. So if you're really interested in learning some of these skills, if you want to have a good career, good mentorship, and if you want to have like good internship opportunities, if you want to have good projects to showcase, then please do choose one of the courses offered by Ecovation. Okay. Thank you. See you in the next webinar of our webinar series. Thank you.